Right. Hello and welcome. Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to Forever Rugby on Forever Sports. Are you guys ready? Are you steady? Are you primed, prepped, and emotionally prepared for a announcement which we've basically been waiting 4 years for almost? I suppose it kind of sounds like definitely 2 years after the British and Irish Lions, but pretty much what we spent the entire week doing, and that is all eyes on the Springbok Rugby World Cup announcement. And we have just seen the crossover there, and it is absolutely packed over there at MultiChoice. That's Super Sports Studios, and it's going to be a very, very hectic next 30 minutes. At the moment, we've got all the build-up stuff happening. The actual announcement is not going to be for another quite a few minutes, actually. Quite a while until the final squad will be announced at 3 o'clock. But we've got lots to talk about. There are potential leaks going around about potential squad players not making the World Cup squad, as well as potentially then what the bolters are. Who are the people that might be going instead? So there's a lot to talk about here. And basically, what we're going to do for the next half an hour is we're going to discuss some of the rumors that are going around. We're going to look at some of the combinations. I'm going to try and dig up the squad we actually predicted back in the... Well, not what we predicted, but we put together a whole sort of a World Cup squad together as a sort of a series. And I'll be very interested. And we have a bit of a look back at that and sort of see what our final squad was. And I suppose kind of where we might actually things that might have changed sort of since then. So welcome to the stream. Please do subscribe if you are new here, and because this is going to be your one-stop shop when it comes to all the sort of the World Cup coverage for the next few months. And so if you're new to the channel, make sure you subscribe, smash like on the video. By the way, let's get as many people in. I've got a poll saying, are you putting any surprises in the squad? Well, we're talking about some of the leaks going around. Could definitely be a couple of surprises. But in case you are new and sort of wondering what we're all about, this is what you've got to look forward to with regards to sort of World Cup coverage over in the next sort of 2 months, which is going to be a lot of fun. So in case you missed it, the Forever Sports coverage are taking on a backstage tour for the World Cup. What is said to be one of the biggest YouTube run campaigns ever is going to look a little something like this. Right, so as I said, in case you have missed it, in case you've not been around, that is the Forever Sports coverage plan for the World Cup. Not only will we be covering every single match live on this channel, that means previews, reviews, live watch-alongs, player rating shows, how to watch guys, all that, but we are actually going to be taking you guys with us over to France, where we're going to be going to a minimum of 6 games, a minimum of 5 cities. We're going to be taking you behind the scenes on exactly what the World Cup is going to look like and exactly what the Boks can get up to over in France. Which box? Well, that's kind of what we're here to discuss and to find out, aren't we? It's going to be a very interesting announcement, and we have already had a few leaks going around about certain players which might not be making the squad due to injury or due to sickness. And yeah, the rumor mill has been absolutely churning everything out about potential last minute sort of news when it comes to the World Cup. So very interested to see exactly sort of what the final 33-man squad is going to look like. And I'm busy trying to sort of find that one that we put together because I'll be very keen to see sort of how close we might have gotten, or if we got anywhere close, and kind of look exactly where things have changed, I suppose, over the last few months and where things haven't. Because it has been a very strange few weeks, I suppose, with regards to results, with regards to performances, and whether there's been enough in terms of form, in terms of performances, to change the World Cup squad, which, if you've been brutally honest, has probably kind of been in pencil on paper for about the last 18 months, I'd say. I reckon after sort of, I think going into the season last year, we would have probably had some sort of basic idea of what our World Cup squad was going to look like. The question, however, is how much has changed due to the sort of the form and the performance and stuff like that we have seen in the Rugby Championship and last weekend. So I'm just trying to find that squad we put together, and I can't find the graphic, which is very annoying. So let me try and see if I can find it. I think it's the Global Youth Choir coming over on that side over there, which is entertaining live over there at the Multi-Choice Studios. Not there. I'm there with you guys. You know, could have gone and been part of the launch, but at the end of the day, it's about being here, isn't it? And telling you guys exactly what's going to go down. The announcement is still in just over 20 minutes' time. The comments are coming in. A lot of people are voting on the poll, and yeah, let's go and see what some of the people are saying, and then I'll talk a little bit about some of the leaks and stuff. And Mo's saying it's 8:30 a.m. Just got to work. Please get going. Fair enough, Mo. We'll keep you nice and distracted. The Black Jersey thing. Wish you guys luck. Thank you very much. Rough stuff saying Springbok needs to develop nerves of steel very quickly. If no poll, we're going to talk about that. And a couple of other comments saying are Oxen Chair see it in or out. We're going to find out in a bit. Pharaoh saying it's crazy how it's a month to go until kickoff. I don't understand how it's been 4 years since we lifted the trophy. Yeah, COVID has just completely thrown any sort of concept of the last few years and how quickly it's gone so far. And Dave Davies saying, I think Ultimate Yankees will be included. Will Ruth go to Ultra Rough Stuff? Sean Cousins saying, I'm available for Waterboy. Ivan's saying, imagine that Johnny Surf is brought in as cover. And just going to go put out a couple of comments here. Unfortunately, there is no stream apart from being on Supersport. So this is your best alternative, I suppose. If you can't, if you don't have a Supersport subscription, we'll be covering it all live here, showing you guys exactly, telling you guys what the squad is, showing it on the screen, and yeah, literally as it happens, we'll be telling you exactly what's going on here. So we will be basically announcing it live with you guys, as well as then obviously having a bit of debate. We've got player profiles as well, so we're going to do some profiles on exactly what the squad is going to look like. I'm actually going to show you a bit of in terms of what the squad was, well, in theory, what the squad was that was going to be picked from. So first of all, a big welcome to Mark Casey, who's just joined the Favorite Sports Super Club. Welcome to you. Welcome to the Favorite Sports Members Club. And then asking chances of Rob Dupree, surprised with Pollard news. I'll be very surprised. Could say, is your entire battle green screen, some look fake and some look real? I'll leave that to the imagination, shan't I? But I would lead on the side of caution. Yes, we do a lot of green screening here. So yes, I'm real. If that's one thing I can guarantee. But yeah, so the announcement is at 3 o'clock. And in case you're wondering what some of the players are looking like in terms of ages, caps, where they're at, these are some of the these are the profiles rather of the broader Springbok squad that was used for the Rugby Championship. That was used for the warm-up games, and basically kind of the players that, in theory, we'll be drawing from. So let's have a look at exactly who's sort of up for selection in that squad announcement, which will take place just under 20 minutes. Right, so that's kind of, I suppose, the core group of players which the squad will be chosen from, unless there are a couple of very surprise selections, which I'd be very excited. I'd be very surprised if the case. Now let's talk about some, I wouldn't say breaking news, some alleged breaking news, some alleged rumors, and that is word on the street is that Latanya, Andre Pollard, and Lou Diago will not be named in the squad, which will be named in 11 minutes' time, just by the way. Huge news if it is true. Absolutely huge news if it is true. I mean, it's yeah. I mean, you talk about them. You talk about sort of key players to our last World Cup win, and those three players for me all rank pretty highly in terms of Lord Diago and the line work that he was doing. Andre Pollard as the general of Andre Pollard. We were sort of as peak of his powers in that 2019 World Cup. Lakanya literally creating the moment that really kind of won us the World Cup. Chairs and Colby was sort of the final nail in the coffin, but Lakanya creating that first try, which kind of sort of broke the deadlock, broke the camel's back, so to speak. And those three players not going would be an absolute huge letdown and blow to the box. And yeah, as much as people sitting there saying, "Oh well, Diago's not in form." I mean, we don't even know he's not in form. He's played 40 minutes of rugby before they played the entire Japanese season. But Lou Diago, when he's playing well, is a world-class lock. The Kanya was in sort of world player of the year contention a year ago. That's how well he was playing back then. And all of a sudden, if he were to not go, it would be an absolute travesty. So, yeah, it's very worrying to see in terms of what we're going to see in the next 10 minutes with regards to those players are going to be available or not. As I said, the rumor is that they're not, and that their injuries and sickness has ruled them out. But I suppose what we're sort of here to find out really is if those players aren't going to be going, who will take their place? And my biggest worry is the fact that, for example, the Kanya doesn't go. We've only seen one person at 13 this year, really, and that's Jesse Creel, which, if he's suddenly going to become our number 13 for the World Cup, then he's going to have to really step up, isn't he? Look, he has been stepping up. I thought he played very well against New Zealand, against Argentina, in that game down over here. So I was quite impressed with him. But if he goes down, for example, who suddenly plays at 13? Marty Leibach can now be going to the World Cup as our number 1 choice for fly half, and so there's so much that can still potentially happen, that would further set us back. It's one thing, Marty Leibach all of a sudden coming in number 1. If he goes down, for example, all of a sudden you're gonna have to bring in somebody like Alton Yankees, assuming he's not being selected today, and he hasn't played any minutes for the Boks this year, and all of a sudden he could be playing in the World Cup. Lou Diago is probably easier to sort of fill in terms of, you can trip Franco Moss straight back to 5. And he's sort of been there, done that, been around the block quite a lot. So he's a bit easier to I wouldn't say to replace, but to manage without, because we do have quality. We've got such good depth at lock. But yeah, so the question is now in 8 minutes' time is who's going to be occupying that graphic. Sirklis is expected to be announced as the World Cup captain. He was already running around during the captain's, during the captain's run, as well as in the warm-up against Argentina. So his fitness journey, or return to fitness journey rather, looks well on track, and he is set to be announced as our captain for today. But what are the 33 names that we're going to see fill that sheet up in 7 minutes' time when Jacques Nielba does announce this squad? And so we're busy looking at some of the build-up, and the coaching staff have come in, and they are sitting down. Big flex from Don Human and Rassie Erasmus, who are wearing their Bok blazers, obviously having played for the Boks before. Whereas obviously the rest of the coaching staff are just sort of in general Springbok blazers, not your official Springbok blazer. So big flex from those two coaches. I'm surprised what stick. I mean, he played 7, so I suppose they probably weren't giving the kind of jerseys for sort of back then maybe, because he played many years for South African 7. So I kind of feel like he should have a jersey. He should have yes, it might not be the 15s. Why don't you get a proper South Africa Protea blazer? If he plays 7s. So as I said, there's lots happening in the chat. I'm going to try to go some of the I'll try to go some of the comments, but if there's anything you want to ask me in particular, feel free to send a super chat so I don't miss it. If you'd like to become a member of the members club, then please you can join that as well. And then we'll sort of just try to sort of go through all the stuff and sort of see what everybody's got to say about everything. I think the big sort of, for me, selections are going to be interesting to see what sort of the bolters are, I suppose, kind of the wild cards. Kane and Moody, for example. I was saying that I'd be surprised if this box squad would pick him because they have always been so loyal to the players who've already played for them. But he's, almost becoming difficult, almost possible to leave out, because he has played so well. I think Curtly Arendse is a shoo-in. People are talking about maybe Mapimpi doesn't go. I think he does go. Does Dion Fourie, for example, go? Evan Ruiz, is he a wild card to go? I don't necessarily think so. All of a sudden, people are saying that Jean-Luc Dupré should go. After 40 minutes of rugby, I'll be surprised if he goes. But there could be a couple of surprise selections. And, people on Twitter are already saying, based on sort of the news this morning, that the people at the Bok coaching staff are about to rewrite the coaching manual. So maybe there has been, this whole idea that these players who haven't actually had that a lot of game time are already in the squad, and that they're kind of going to be sort of those wild card players who don't necessarily expect much because we haven't seen them play. Which for me is an incredibly brave way of looking at things, but maybe that is the case. We don't know. As I said, it's all speculation at the moment. Even with those three players who apparently will not be named in the squad. Again, that is just rumors. It's nothing confirmed, which is what I said in the video. If you did see it earlier and stuff, that'll only be confirmed coming up. Actually, about to say, I think I'm all of a sudden seeing a few casually buggers in the group chat. I am still debating my Premier League fantasy participation for the year. If I think about if I do end up throwing in a team, then maybe I'll have to jump back in there. Sounds like you guys probably just need a logo update if you're jumping back on me. What is everybody else going to say over here? So Justin saying replace Monster with Jean-Luc Dupré. I would not do that, for example. I think that Monster's been one of our best players in the last 2 years, and I don't think two subpar performances justifies leaving him behind. Especially if Lord Diaga is not going. I think we need someone who's a world-class lineup operator, which he very much is. Mr. Fast, if you're watching the games this year, you would have noticed that established players do not necessarily guarantee a win. Look at the game in Mount Smart, New Zealand. Yeah, so there is no guarantee, but it's one thing, playing in a general rugby championship game is another thing playing in a World Cup semi-final or World Cup final. And look at how in the past, if you look at the past two World Cups, there were certain key moments when where we managed to, where we sort of won games and games were won, and key moments where we then progressed. And I'm thinking about that Perina try, for example, against Wales back 2015, and the offload from Dwayne van Meulen. I'm thinking about that Mapimpi try, for example, in the last World Cup. I'm thinking about the Dwayne van Meulen just general performance in that Rugby World Cup final, and how often were it? I mean, yes. So of course, you got to have a couple of X factor players. Shezin Colby playing his first World Cup, for example, but how important is it to have that experience so that when the chips are down, when you're really up against it, it is often those players who are so experienced and have got that experience that can really sort of stand up in those moments. Not to say that youngsters can't, but you need that level head, that ability to sit there and say, I've been here, I've done that, this is how I cope. And so if you are going to have young players, young bolters, for example, it's incredibly important to have the right players around those players. I don't think a team averaging 23, 24 years old, for example, is not going to win you a World Cup. That is something that this coaching staff has done a lot of research on. The fact when you look at when squads and teams have won the World Cup, what their average age has been, what their average sort of experience in terms of the amount of caps has been, and you look at that, and apparently sort of the average sort of caps per player in most World Cup winning squads are sort of 35 to 45 generally. And so that's why if you look at the last few years, it's been a lot about getting caps into players. So like a Jasper Wiese, for example, is going to go into the World Cup with close up 2021 caps, whatever it was earlier. Even players who are quite new to the system are going to have accumulated a reasonable amount of caps, so that these players are experienced enough to cope with those sort of pressure situations. But yeah, the announcement is supposed to be in a minute's time. They've just crossed over to a bus arriving. Imagine that, which will be carrying the World Cup squad. So those players will be in the bus. And obviously, I've been told yesterday who would have been the team and who wouldn't have been. But seeing as we've still got a bit of time, doesn't look like they are completely ready for the World Cup announcement just yet. I want to have a look at something. This is what we guys earlier, if you guys are a returning viewer, you would know this. This is what we did earlier in the year. We did a whole series where basically we fan chose the entire squad, and this is in fact the squad that we came up with. And I'll be interested to see, what I'm going to do. I'm going to do a video. We're going to do a video on this in terms of reacting to how close we got. But that's kind of what we had. So we had Malcolm Marx, Bongi Manambi, Joseph Dweber, Stephen Kitsov, Oxenchair, Frans Malherbe, Vincent Koch, Thomas de Toy, Eben Etzebeth, Louis Diaga, Frank Mossad, Archis Neyman, Sia Khaleesi as captain, Peter Steph de Toy, Dwayne Vermeulen, Dion Fourie, Kwaka Smith, Jasper Wiese as our forward. Faf de Klerk, Jaden Hendrickson, Kubus Reinach, Andre Pollard, Bonnie Liebach, Lekanya Damien Delendi, Andre S. Tayson, Jesse Creel, Jason Colby, Damian Williams, Kurt Lawrence, Billy LaRue, Maxwell, and Pimpy Evan Ruiz. That is not the squad, just by the way. That is what we predicted when we did a World Cup squad builder, which is why it says they're World Cup squad builder. So please don't shout at me and sit there saying what's the wrong squad. It hasn't been announced yet. But those who were here at the time will have remembered how much of a debate we had. For example, Thomas Satori got one over Trevor Nikani, which was an interesting one. Evan Ruiz getting that final sort of spot was quite an interesting one. There was quite a hotly contested debate about Joseph Dweber or Johan Kobolosh coming into the squad. I don't think we'll be far away, to be honest. Obviously, the big news is apparently no Pollard, potentially no Louis Diaga. I think that Grant Williams was potentially going to put those names in the hat, but maybe now that injury or that concussion to him might have taken him out of the running. But I genuinely think that that's pretty close to what we are going to see announced any day now, any time now. It is supposed to be at 3 o'clock, which is supposed to be the official announcement time. So we are now waiting, and we're about to cross over. So hopefully we will be seeing it very soon. So I'm going to bring up my other one over there, and hopefully it is about time to start filling this graphic up. As we sort of look at an overview overhead of Multichoice City, which is quite an impressive building if you've ever been there. I did spend a couple of backs there working. And there she is, Machisi Mohono hosting the announcement today. So we are hopefully, that means moments away from hearing all about the squad. Let me make sure I can hear what's going on. Actually, I've got my headphones here. Right, so Vic saying earlier, thank you very much for the super chat, by the way. I really appreciate the 2 super chats we've had so far. Saying Grant Williams will be a wild card if he's recovered from concussion. Yeah, very interesting shot there. Were to try and go there. Rassi Rasmus looking very comfortable there. The rest of the coaching staff all sort of settled in, looking very smart in all their blazers and stuff. Yeah, that's all the MultiChoice staff. They're the ones that get to come across and watch them. I suppose you get some perks for working for MultiChoice. You get to go and watch Springbok announcements. Yeah, I mean, it's super sport and it's Rugby like this. So if you guys ever think that there's ever going to be a separation between those two entities, you're in for, unfortunately, a bit of a shock because, yeah, I mean, super sport are funding a hell of a lot of the Springbok activities in general, with all that broadcast money and stuff like that. Now I've got another blooming video we're going to look at. Right, well, in the meantime, they're going to look at their World Cup coverage video. I'm going to show you my World Cup coverage video. So once again, if you are new, if you need a bit of incentive on why you should be subscribing to the channel and why you should be really getting involved, then this is an idea of exactly what you can expect from our World Cup coverage throughout the World Cup. Right. So as you can see, a very, very big coverage plan from here from Everyday Pro Sports. So if you are new to the channel, make sure you subscribe to be part of it as we sit here and wait for the official announcement, which I'm busy listening into right now, waiting to get the announcement going. We've just watched the standard, very emotional, very gripping, proud to be South African, video to really get us all hyped up. I've got to start tugging on a few heartstrings, I've got to start building our narratives so that when it gets to the World Cup, we've got something to really sort of use in our pre-game build-ups. And now we're looking at our official new anthem. So still a little bit of build-up. The chairs are being rolled out, though, for the squad to arrive. These things always run so dramatic, aren't they, when it comes to these announcements? It's amazing how when it comes to, because we've got like one team which can actually generally go and win these things, that they pull out all the stops. We've got all the various different things and stuff. And when it comes to like a Bafana announcement or like a Pro announcement, it's like, right, these are the guys going. Cheers, boys. Good luck. Love your work. We'll see you guys soon. But pull out all the stops though for the box because they actually win things. Yeah, this is our anthem apparently that's currently going on. Right, so let's go through some of the comments and stuff and seeing what everybody has to say. But just anyways, World Cups come every 12 years. Box can't really expect to defend their title. No TRTs won from 2021 to 2023. Yeah, we did win a British Irish Lions series though, so we won something. John says the Brewers could genuinely make it. Investing in young players imperative. Critical say Rugby Pass saying umpired and Diago have already been ruled out. Yeah, so we broke that as well earlier. Did a video about it saying that apparently there have been 2 injuries and sickness to Lua Diago. So apparently they were not going to be named. As I said, we can only give you confirmation hopefully in a few minutes once they eventually get to announce the damn thing. So yeah, the squad announcement is supposed to be any minute now. They are moving on to the squad announcement part. There was a half an hour build up between 2 and 3. 3 o'clock was supposed to be the squad announcement. So hopefully any time now. I can't make any promises though. I don't exactly have much say in when they decide to do these things. But hopefully it does. Well, it should be now ish. As I said, I can't make any promises on when they actually. I don't know how much build up they got. I don't know if they're putting up new jerseys, they're putting out new songs, they're putting out more interviews with executives. I don't know what the plan is. I don't. So I can't make any promises on exactly when the announcement will be, but it's supposedly any moment now. Donovan saying earlier that he's really enjoyed David Willems's game. I'm a massive Willemse fan. Bernard said the Scotland Merseyside game is going to hit like and that is actually the game that Jacques Nienaber said is the most important game to the block management right now. I think it is generally because I think it's about if you win that game, you obviously beat Romania. Then when it comes to the Ireland game, that could potentially be the game to top the pool. And if you win Ireland, you could probably rotate against Tonga. If you lose to Ireland, you can't rotate against Tonga. So in terms of keeping the squad fresh and how we kind of use our squad, I think a lot of it does come down to that Scotland game, getting off to a good start because they are the 5th best side of the world. So it's not going to be an easy game by any stretch of the imagination. And then you go into that Ireland game, you give it all your hordes, and if you can win, then you get to rotate a little bit when it comes to that Tonga game, and which will allow us to keep our sort of squad a bit fresh. But just a fun fact, by the way, we are just less than 300 subscribers away from 36,000 subscribers. Our plan is to try and get a 40,000 before the World Cup. So if you are new to the if you are new to the channel, please do go subscribe to it. Almost 3,000 people watching at the moment. I think they're now putting these guys' name in the song. What if they aren't selected? I know. Be a little bit anticlimactic, wouldn't it? Pete's saying, what are your thoughts on Moody being groomed as a 13? I honestly love that idea. Reminds me of Awani. Them giving him more ball would be great. And his quality defender thoughts. Yeah, I think. So I'm just trying to hear. They are in the building, apparently. The squad's in the building. That is the rumor. That is apparently what's happening. But Yeah, I do think he could be a 13. I think we need to start seeing him at the Bulls, hopefully, at 13. And once we start seeing him there, then I'm very keen to start seeing him coming in and giving opportunities in a Bok jersey. Right, so now Mark Alexander's coming out. I don't know if he's actually the man, potentially he could be the man actually announcing the squad. Okay, yes. Start a very special adventure. Thanks, Mark. Announce the squad. Well, my names will be announced shortly. We've heard that before. Yeah, drawn together by common bond. It's all very nice. Just throw us 33 names so we can start debating. Shame. It's so dramatic, isn't it? The whole thing. Meanwhile, meanwhile, the Bulls have just announced Devin Williams and Dion Slavitz joining the Bulls. I mean, why would you drop the announcement in the middle of the Springbok World Cup squad announcement? Oh, dear me, dearie me. Yeah, stronger together, stronger moving forward, all that. Yeah, we know. It's come on. It's just not naming names. I want names on a list. I want confirmation about players. I want confirmation that Alton Yankees is going. You know, maybe let's throw in a period Gianti. Bring back the cup home. Yes, lads. We're all ready for it. Yeah, we did in with the best wishes, but we need to know what the team is so we can wish them best. Oh, goodness. Anticipation. It's killing me. Right. Can you say lastly to sign more people? Oh, you have no idea. You have absolutely no idea. So let's say Liebach won't be able to hang with the top teams in the knockout stage. Probably tactical awareness kicking will be greatly missed. 100%. Rasmus has full back. I mean, I think even the people in the building are sitting there like, mate, we just want to see the squad. We just want to see what's going on here. Like, stop keeping us in the dark. Even Rusty Rasmussen got a reassuring and look at him saying, I wasn't informed this was going to take this long. You even could see he's a little bit thing. So in the meantime, why don't we do a bit of a check in here? So somebody was saying that they're watching from Kenya. So let me know where you're watching from. Let's sort of see exactly where we're at. Yeah, but are you announcing it? Is Jacques announcing it? Are we going to get the announcement now? I think that's him. All right, here we go. Well, he just said Slappy here is your team. So let's get ready here, boys. Yep, 100%. No, never mind. Ah, I thought he was about to announce it. I was so. Oh no, I got another advert. Ah, now they've got this whole. Now we've got a whole thing of who we're doing this for, guys. It's very emotional if we like go and like lose the first game, man, to have had this whole thing. This is who they're all doing it for. I mean, is this the only the people that are doing the squad? Surely it's not this is not the squad here. Hey, well, it is Andre, so this is. I mean, I'm assuming this was just pre-recorded. Although I haven't seen anybody here who would be controversial. They're in the squad. Ah, there's Marvin with his bucket hat. Oh, the Chaos there, so at least we know this isn't the actual squad. Jean-Luc's doing it for his dog, apparently. Yeah, all the coaching stuff. I mean, it's very cool. It's very emotional, chaps. It's very, as I said, it's very gut-wrenching. But we've kind of been waiting for almost an hour now to see who's going. So if you could just tell us, that'd be great. For South Africa, thank you. Now South Africa will be very, very, very thankful if you could just drop the 33 names. There we go. Here's the team. Mark Staden. Well, that's a hell of a way to start. Mark Staden. There we go. First name on the list. Oh, no, man. We're not doing a whole kneel down capping thing. Oh, goodness me. Right. Well, his first ever World Cup. Mark Staden is the first name in the squad. Even that, I suppose, a bit of a interesting one. I don't think we would have expected that a few months ago. Next up is Jasper Wiese. Not such a unexpected one. We kind of knew that was happening, didn't we? We knew good old Jasper was going to be back in, yeah. 918. Right, people, Andre Esterhuizen. The boys is going. Andre is going. What kind of bloody order is this? I was doing this in backs and forwards, and now you're just going to throw Andre Esterhuizen in there. Marvin Orie. Well, there we go. We wondered about Marvin Orie. Marvin Orie is going. Right, next up, who have we got? So far, Marco Verstappen, Jasper Wiese, Andre Esterhuizen, and Marvin Orie are the first 4 names into the squad. Achia Snyman is the next man. So far, no real surprises for me. Maybe Marco Verstappen, I suppose, but I think the way he's been playing, I think he kind of made himself very, very much part of the mix. Jean Klein, there we go. Well, that could be the first indication that Lourdes de Jager is potentially not going. Jean Klein, that is a proper Springbok bolter. Right, well, there we go. First indication. I think that, for me, is an indication that Lourdes de Jager is not going. Caden Moody, there we go. You wonder how much of that would go down to this weekend. Caden Moody is going. The youngster, one of the youngest players ever to go to the World Cup for South Africa. Caden Moody does get the call up. 9:30. Vincent Koch. Yeah, we knew about Vincent Koch. So I think that's the first two big surprises so far already. Jean Klein, Kane Moody into the squad. Right, who have you got for us now? Oxenchair, he's made it, boys. He's made it, and girls. Come on, the Ox. Oh, look at him. Look at the smile. Come on, you can get a smile, Ox. Oh, I'm so chuffed he made it. I was so worried when he was done. He's come through so much to be there. Oxenchair, the fan favorite. What a lad. What a player, Oxenchair. Well. Yeah, my boys. Come the Quacker Smith. Quacker the goat, boys. Quacker the goat. I mean, yeah, as much as I enjoy the build-up, this is quite hype though, I won't lie. Like, the build-up was a little bit hectic. I'm not quite sure about this whole kneeling thing, but the hype has been fun. After Clark, our number one scrum off. Do not at me. Do not come near me. Do not try and tell me differently. Our number one scrum off after Clerk. 48 caps. 50th cap incoming. What a player. What a player. Yeah, Cheslin Colby, the man who sealed the deal. Scoring one of the all-time great Rugby World Cup final tries. 25 caps. Will play his rugby in Japan domestically. Made his, did play in the 2019 Rugby World Cup, his first World Cup. Going to his second World Cup. Marnie Liebach, there he is. There he is. He's had the call up. He's got the call up. He had a few couple of games. He now is going to the World Cup. What a moment for him. Damian Willemse. What a World Cup he's about to have. I tell you what, we're talking. The man's up there in his glasses as well. Damian with the swag. I love it. 31 caps was an addition to the 2019 World Cup. Now he's genuinely going as quite an important player. Yeah, you guys doubted him, but the man who scored the try that really set on his way, Makazole Mapimpi, will be going to the World Cup. Look how popular he is. Look at him. They love him. He's a crowd favorite. Drex Mapimpi is going. Put some respect on the man's name. He is off to the World Cup. Don't write him off yet. Do write him off at your peril. They can't even read it because there's too many shouting. Yeah, my pimps, take the applause. Look how much they love it. Yes, my pimps. D-Rex. D-Rex. JC Creel. Put some respect to my boy's name. Underrated. Has been showing us lately just how he still has it. He's gone to the 2015 and the 2019 World Cup. He's got 61 caps to his name. And could very well all of a sudden be our number one choice at outside centre. Come on, JC. Big, 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 big. Big World Cup from you coming up. Jaden Hendrickson, come on! They've backed him. They've backed him. That's a huge call. I wondered about it. They said that they saw enough of him last year. They have. I like that call. I really like that call. I think Jaden Hendrickson is just made for international rugby. That's a huge call. Huge call. Dion Ferreira, there we go. He does get the call up. Our utility play. No, he doesn't want to be known as the sort of the Skulk Bricks type player, but very much a role that people had kind of almost decided for him that he was going to potentially fill. He has been given the call up. Made his one of the, I think the oldest debutant in Springbok history, and he's going to the World Cup. Yeah, there he is. Kirkley Arendse. He's taken to international rugby like a duck to water. 3 wings is a very interesting call. You wonder now, could Canan Moody be genuinely a 13 option? Has he been brought in as cover for Lekanya? Grant Williams as well. How's that for your 3 scrum offs? No, looks like no Kubus Reinach, potentially no Herschel Yankees. Grant Williams got a concussion. He's still going to the World Cup. Scrum off so far. Faf de Klerk, Jaden Hendrickson, and Grant Williams. These are some huge calls being made by the Bok management. I'll take it all back. Kubus Reinach as well. Why are we taking 4 scrum offs? Not sure about that, must admit. Not sure about that. 4 scrum offs is a bit. It's, I mean, why we keep wanting to do it. I just don't understand why we're doing it. 4 scrum offs to the World Cup is a very, very strange shot. Yes, we know that they can. I mean, and the thing people are saying, well, they can play wing. Well, we've got flipping 4 wings as well. France Malherbe, the fridge, Mr. Reliability. Best tight head in the world. In the world. Do not even try and tell me otherwise. Let me carry the tag for them. Bongi Mbonambi, top dog. Top dog. Into the squad. Captain last week. Yeah, that's a big applause for him. That's a big smile for him. Mr. Top Dog himself. He's going to have the entire World Cup on lockdown. So the question is, will we see Joseph Dweber? Will we not see Joseph Dweber? For me, it looks like Dion Free could be that extra hooker option. Malcolm Marks. Oh, that's got there's 2 hookers in a row being announced. More to the point, we're kind of coming to a lot of experienced players who are also in the front here. So my gut says that Joseph Dweber will not be going. My gut says that all of a sudden this means that Luat Diago will in fact not be going, because now we're moving into your Damien De Lendis, your Sia Khaleesi's, your Eamon Etzebest. This is now the front row seating. So if you haven't been called up already, you're in a bit of trouble here. Trevor, yeah, my boy. Treyeze. Treyeze. Oh yes, oh yes, oh yes, the man. Playing to the crowd. Things you love to see. That's an interesting one. So no Joseph Dweber. It looks like Dion Free has been taken as the 3rd hooker choice. Peter Steph du Toit, former World Player of the Year. Peter Steph du Toit, might I add. And won it back in 2019 when he was the best rugby player in the world. We really need to find that form. Almost done here. Just the likes of an Eben Etzebeth, Sia Khaleesi, and the likes still coming up. Damien De Linde, here he is. Dukes. Mr. Dukes. All right, here we go. Stephen Kitsoff. Franco Mostert. Put some respect on my boy Sosa's names. I wouldn't select him. He's off form. I'm not sure he deserves to go. That man has been one of our best players in the last 2 years. Never in doubt as far as I'm concerned. Never in doubt. My boy Sos. Best engine in rugby. This doesn't stop. Villaroo now, boys. He's finally starting to get the plaudits he deserves. He will be the most experienced player after Eben Etzebeth in this World Cup. 86 caps. His third World Cup. Right, 4 spots left. Dwayne Vermeulen. Big old Dwayne. Yeah, they thought he was done. They thought he was past it. And this year, he's very much reminded them that he still has a lot to give. And in my opinion, probably still our number 1 choice, to be honest. The next 3, I'm pretty sure you can probably start to picture who's going to come up now. Eben Etzebeth. Eben looks a bit sore, actually. He's got a bit of a limp. Oh, that's exactly what you need to see. Eben Etzebeth limping up to get his blooming cap. Really? I mean, we've got no Lua Diaga. We've got no Lekanya Amin here. We've got no Andre Pollard so far. And that's the only person left of the squad is going to be Sia Khaleesi. And then I'm pretty sure the other picture there is but for Jacques. I need to count this, but I'm pretty sure that's it. Jacques Niamba and then Sia Khaleesi. Gentlemen, ladies and gentlemen, that is basically your squad. It is confirmed. No Pollard. No Lekanya and no Louis Diaga. Massive. Absolutely massive. Last but certainly not least, your Springbok skipper, your World Cup captain. There it is. Ladies and gentlemen, that is it. That is your World Cup squad. After all the months of speculation, after all the debate, the arguments, the discussions, the speculation, that is your World Cup squad. Goodness me! Well, now we've got a bit of time to try and sort of kind of gather my thoughts a little bit and try and break this down. That is it. That is your World Cup squad. Now we're going to take a couple of photos and stuff like that. But that is it, ladies and gentlemen. Some huge, huge calls. Very, very interesting. Let's go. I just want to try and sort of count the numbers here. So in terms of our split, we've gone 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Yeah, 19 forwards, 14 backline players. Huge calls, now we've got to really get stuck into this. Before I do, big shout out to some of the super chats earlier. So there was Vic saying God will be there for wild card. He recovered from concussion. He is a wild card. Matthew Dixon as well. Thank you very much, saying Kwak could become the most decorated international rugby player of all time if they win the Rugby World Cup again. Yeah, him and Ches and Colby have won a lot between the 7s and 15s. Right. 12 Rugby World Cup debutants in waiting, by the way. 12 players going that have never gone to a World Cup before. Right. Are you happy with the World Cup squad? That is the poll going up now. I think this is an interesting squad. Yeah, this is a very interesting. I mean, there's big gaps there in terms of experience. No Lekanya, no Andre Pollard, no Luat Diaga is absolutely massive. There's no doubt about that. Those are going to be some huge absentee. 4 scrum halves, 4 wings would suggest that in terms of fly half cover, your likes of a Faf de Klerk, your likes of a Ches and Colby could very much be looking at making an Annabelle Leroux, could be covering in a fly half. I think we're suddenly looking, obviously, Dion Free will be covering hooker. And the big thing for me is Kane Moody potentially outside center cover? Because we haven't named another out-and-out outside center. So right, so I'm trying to see if I can find if there's a press release that comes out about it. Right, well, gentlemen, there's some interesting selections in there. They're gonna be close with the national anthem, so I'm gonna leave them there. I'm gonna focus on speaking to you guys because now we've really got to break this down, don't we? Yeah, there's no press release come out yet, with a couple of stats and stuff like that. So what have we got to really focus on here? Let's go see some of the chat. Said there's a lot of stuff coming in. A lot of people saying they're not happy with the World Cup squad. Now, there are a couple of things you need to remember. Lekanya, Andre Pollard, Luat Diaga have not been dropped. They have not been left out. They are not available. That's what we assume the decision is. That is what the rumors were, that Pollard is injured, not going to recover in time. Same with Lekanya, and Luat Diaga has apparently picked up an illness and will also not recover in time. Is this our best 33 players that we could take? No, because I think all 3 of those players would be in it. Is this 33 good enough to win the World Cup? Absolutely. I 100% believe it is good enough to win the World Cup. Will it win the World Cup? I'm not so sure. It has got a lot of people here that are going to have to really step up. The likes of Amali Liebach now, who's all of a sudden going to be our number 1 flower half and the World Cup. The likes of a JC Creel, who people didn't even want in the squad, will now be our starting 13, most likely going into the World Cup. Who will our scrum halves be, for example? We've got 4 options at scrum half. Is it going to be a Faf de Klerk, Jaden Henderson? Are we going to see Grant Williams as a bit of a wild card type player? Dion Free going with only 2 out-and-out hookers is also a big shot. No Joseph Dweba, which a lot of people will quite like, but Dion Free hasn't played hooker, first of all, internationally, basically ever. Hasn't never, and hasn't actually played hooker for about 2 or 3 years now. So this is a very interesting squad to look at, and I think that to a certain degree it is quite predictable in terms of they've really backed the players who've been part of the system. They've really backed players who have been around the block, who were part of who were part of the setup, part of the lineman camps. And I mean, it's as best as we can go. I mean, so the big thing is, I suppose, who could be replaced here? Who is where are the holes in the squad? And the big one obviously is not having Pollard is a big blow. And I think the annoying thing is probably the fact that obviously the plan was to have him being fit, and that hasn't worked out. Should we then have blooded more other flower halves? That is going to be something that's going to be debated. Who else would come in? Because that's the big thing. It's very easy to sit there saying, well, we don't like the announcement, we don't like the team and stuff like that, but who are the other options? So people who are annoyed at no Pollard, for example, and stuff, would you have been happy if Alton Yankees were part of the squad? Because that's your other option, for example. Who's been unlucky to miss out over here? I mean, who really has missed out here? I mean, there's no Gerard Stenenkamp, for example, no Thomas du Toit, no Joseph Dweber is the big one, no Jean-Luc Dupré, but he played 40 minutes of rugby. I don't think it's that unsurprising. He's not going to go. No Evan Roos. Funny enough, I'm not seeing too many people that are actually saying that they're up about it. But let's go see some of the comment stuff like that. I'm seeing a lot of negativity. I'm not a fan of that, to be honest. We've got to back the buggers, lads. We've got to really back the boys. This is our team. This is who we've got. And this is what we've got to back, yeah, hey? So Michelle's a good team, a lot of depth, but no matter who made the team, there'll always be haters. You're 100% correct about that. Tian says runoff or Grant could be left out for Alton Yankees. I'm very nervous about 10. Not a bad shout, to be perfectly honest, unless they reckon that Fat could potentially cover 10 or Billy's going to cover 10. But the four scrum offs, yes, they can cover wing, but you're not going to start any of them at wing, are you? So I think that's probably going to be quite a controversial one. Larry says they thought Andre would never be injured like this. No backup plan for him. Money was never part of the plan. I don't know how we can win without a goal kicking specialist. Look, Mani Leibach did not kick well last weekend. He is a goal kicking, I wouldn't say he's specialist, but he kicks for his club, kicks all the time whenever he plays. So he's going to have to step up. There's no doubt about that. But he's going to have to. He's going to have to at the end of the day. We did not plan on this. Well, come with the man, come with the hour. Come with the man, come with the hour. New Zealand won a World Cup in 2011 with about a fifth choice flower half. So, yeah, I think that's the biggest thing. I suppose people are going to have to really step up. That seems to be the sort of the biggest challenge, the goal kicking issue. And what will be interesting is to see is who's going to be the goal kicker. My gut says it will be Mani Leibach if he's playing. I don't think that'll really change unless he's kicking really badly. You do have Faf de Klerk, who's an option. Jaden Hendrickson, by the way, does kick for goal. They're now looking at Ches and Colby as an option. I don't think there's that many surprises other than the players who are injured, to be perfectly honest. I don't think Jean-Luc Dupré was ever getting in yet. I don't think Alton Yankees was released from the squad, so we knew that he was never sort of part of the plan. Marvin Ory for me was always going. Jean-Luc Dupré is a completely different player to him, so I don't even think you should be bothering with that comparison. But yeah, so this is the person. This is what I was waiting for. Right, here we go. So this is going to be, here we go. This is some of the news that we need to look at. Right, so the 9 player. Okay, so there are 9 players that will be on standby. 5 of them who will travel with the team to Cardiff and London for their last 2 World Cup games. Okay, so are you ready? So the 9 players are Lekanya Loic de Jager, Jean-Luc Dupré, Thomas du Toit, Joseph Dweber, Herschel Yankees, Andre Pollard, Evan Roos, and Gerard Stenenkamp. The 5 travelling to the UK on Saturday are du Toit, Dupré, Dweber, Pollard, and So that's interesting. I mean, so how are and Pollard going to this is interesting, actually. Very, very interesting. So it almost looks like they could potentially be potentially fit. Right, so here we go. So they have confirmed Andre Pollard, calf injury, Lekanya knee, and Loic de Jager chest problem have been placed on standby with 6 other players. The Springboks were hopeful they may return to full training before the start of the tournament and be available for the call-up in the event of injury. Right, so they are going to be around on standby. So they're not completely ruled out. So if injuries happen, they potentially can be brought in. So, yeah, those are the players that are on standby. let's talk about over here. So this is what he had to say about the squad. So Nino said, since Rassi and I returned to South Africa in 2018, we've been building to the 2023 World Cup, and we are pleased with where we are going into this World Cup. The coaches and players have put in a hell of a lot of work in the last few years, and we have a luxury of naming a squad that features a big group of players who know what it takes to win a World Cup, and who will enter the tournament with vast international experience. The younger players have also shown in the last 2 seasons that they can match some of the top players in the world, so we believe we are better prepared as a team going into this tournament. We still have 2 more games left and a road to travel to build player combinations and fine-tune the areas of our game that we feel will need to improve on. So we are by no means the final product at this stage. Khaleesi is expected to be back in action against Wales in 2 weeks. Will captain the Springbok for the second time. Che and Hendricks, who have not appeared for the Boks in the past 4 matches, are also expected to return in the final 2 warm-up matches. Suffered a knee injury in the victory against Argentina and expected to be out of action for 4 weeks, whilst Dialga is undergoing specialist evaluation for a chest problem. Pollard, meanwhile, has been on the sidelines with a calf injury since joining the team in June and will continue to work with the Bok medical team to return to full fitness. So there we have it. So yeah, they just didn't make it, unfortunately, which is heartbreaking for them. But they will be on standby. And this is what happens, guys. At the end of the day, there will be injuries. There will be things that have to happen. It is interesting that they are traveling already with them overseas now. And that they will potentially, they could potentially come into the World Cup. I suppose that's the main thing, isn't it? One couple of injuries and all of a sudden players could be back on the fold. So this by no means rules them out. For example, even in the last World Cup, Jesse Creel went down, Trevor Nikani went down. That's why the likes of Dame Willemse was included, for example. So that's the reasoning. That's the thinking, people. But yeah, we're going to wrap it up there. It's been a pretty cool show. It's been quite a long live stream, actually. We've been live for quite a while now. And yeah, that is the final squad. We will obviously have a lot more. We're going to actually go live tonight in the fan forum. We're going to be breaking this squad down. And so you can save a lot of your questions and stuff like that. We can probably look at start doing a sort of final 23 and stuff. So please do come and join us later on a impromptu fan forum on a Tuesday. There'll be no fan forum on Thursday, so we'll be doing that tonight instead. But to everybody who's been around for the stream, thank you very much for joining in. Thank you very much for keeping me company. And we will see you guys all tonight.